gonna be under a new channel. I've done previously in October. I lost my glasses. um,
Hi, this is Three Sisters Creative.
Only
we had I have done this on my Phantastitches channel as a floss tube extra, and we decided to start a new channel for the Three Sisters Creative and try to do this fairly regularly. And for the month of December, for the Sundays of Advent, just to do something special, and to come, and then after that, I don't know, we'll see how often, so we wanted to feature some of the different things that we do as Three Sisters Creative, and so we thought we'd put it all together in one thing. Get my glasses.
Where are they? Oh,
They're,
here.
oh, they're there. I did get them. I thought I got them, but I wasn't sure. But now, okay. So, anyway, so we're all doing something.
well, I'm cross stitching
Yeah.
because I'm not going to put my sewing machine up here. And
Yeah.
Well, since we're starting a new channel, we should introduce ourselves.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so this was all. We'll let Beth go first because this was all sort of her brainchild and her.
Yeah.
Her
So I'm
favorite.
Elizabeth Martinez. Phantastitches is the channel that I have, and so I started floss tube channel a couple years ago. I guess the end of 2017, end of 2018, something like that. I want to say it was 2018 because I think sometime this year would be this like in December-ish would be my floss tube anniversary. And I'm up to about 140 something episodes, so that's about
nice.
right. Yeah. So, and then these are my sisters. Eve.
Yeah, I'm Eve Burge, and I'm the oldest sister.
Ha.
I taught Beth to cross stitch.
Yes.
Gosh, when I was living in Florida a gazillion years ago.
About 30 years ago.
and
That was before I was born.
no, no, definitely.
You learned actually before I did.
That's true.
When you were in
So
college.
I enjoyed cross stitch when I lived by myself and had more time, and I taught Naomi how, and Beth
That's me.
kind of wanted to do it, but not really.
No, I did. I didn't before, but when they both came home for Christmas with projects, I was feeling left out, and I thought, I don't want
And
to
just to
learn all
note, that
that.
project that I came home with, I probably still haven't finished. Just FYI.
Yeah, and I had trouble finishing things, but when I learned to cross stitch, I was working at a craft store, and the reason I was working at a craft store is because it's cheaper to work there. You buy stuff, but my first love is painting, and I was doing a lot more painting when I lived in Florida. You know, oddly enough, it's hard to paint in Phoenix. The paint's dry before you can get them on the canvas. But in Florida, you don't have quite that much trouble. And while I was working at that craft store, I learned to cross stitch and do some other types of crafts. But when I was very young, my aunt taught me how to crochet. Maybe knit. Either my aunt taught me how to knit or my grandmother did, and the other one taught me the other one. So I knew how to knit and crochet by the time I was at this craft store in Florida. And I had already been married and not married, and was really just getting into the different types of crafts. I learned to sew when I was young too.
Yeah, well, we were.
Yeah, I
We
remember
were
making
very
clothes.
little.
I remember making clothes for Naomi when she was little.
Because they're a lot older than me. A lot.
Not that much.
Not
And
as
so,
much as you wish.
so I have always loved being creative and loved doing creative things. And about a year ago, maybe around a year ago, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Beth said, why don't you design cross stitch for something or other? I don't remember what it was, a pattern. And I said,
I think it was for
it was
last year for Christmas.
it was 10 minutes to midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And that I had kind of an idea for something of Santa Claus ripping his pants, and Naomi said, "Well, why don't you have it with Santa Claus? You know, and that he's waiting to leave, and his pants are ripped, and he's waiting for Mrs. Claus to
So his
So
pants.
sew his pants." And she has another idea, which I plan to still do, but I haven't done it yet. And so I drew it, and I just, everything went from there. I realized how much I enjoy designing different cross stitch patterns.
That's so cute.
And
See, I can have the idea, but I cannot draw anything. I can't make
and
it. Yeah.
and so I after 10 minutes with midnight, I started doing little ones, you know, like this, just to get used to making a cross stitch pattern and what goes into it, and thinking about different seasons. And I've made several, which are up on our Etsy site, which is Three Sisters.
I'm working on one right now. This, oh, you can't see it.
We'll put a picture of it. We'll put a picture.
Yeah,
It's called. What is it called?
waiting for Santa.
Yeah.
It's two little kitties waiting for Santa Claus. They have a little tree, and you see Santa Claus flying across the moon over here, and here's the little tree.
It's very
Yeah.
cute. Oh, and at some point I was a graphic designer. And so I know how to make websites and stuff. So I have been diligently working on a Three Sisters creative website. We have the domain and everything, and actually it's pretty close to being ready, but obviously I do lots of stuff. And so it's hard for me to find time to sit down and work on it.
Yeah. But we'll link the Etsy shop in the description.
Mhm.
And all of my designs, as well as some stuff I've been sewing, and eventually more things that Naomi is making. And those of you who've been watching have seen our project bags and I have the snowmen playing in the snow project bag and notion. I haven't gotten the notions bag up there yet. And sorry,
We'll insert some photos of
Yeah.
those bags
but the
in this video.
project bag, and then
Yes,
the
notice that.
snowman, the snow coming down,
Flakes.
snowflakes. I'm tired. And the
Project bag, yeah.
project bag. So I've been doing lots of things besides working on the website, but now let's lead into Naomi.
So Eve, well, maybe I said it's all Beth's fault, but maybe it's really all Eve's fault, as I said in the past. She taught me to crochet and knit and cross stitch
And sew. I
And
taught
sew.
you how to sew when you made your
I made my wedding dress. Was the first thing I ever sewed, which was crazy.
Oh gosh.
The second thing I sewed was I practiced on a shirt for Mark. So, but yeah. So I have never settled on any one thing. I've flitted around. I've done everything. I started spinning yarn a couple years ago. I quilt. I knit. I crochet.
She makes beautiful quilts.
I do all kinds of stuff, and I've actually come to a sort of crisis of identity in this past month, because I've started to think about because I was just talking with my husband about this last night. I love to write. That's another thing that I really like to do, and but I can't seem to settle down and think right now, and this is all I ever want to do. And like, if someone were to say, what do you want to do? You have unlimited time and no one's going to bug you. what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to play with yarn. I want to make yarn with my spinning wheel, and I want to knit yarn, and I want to, I don't know, learn all about things and have all the yarn. So, so actually I've been contemplating, maybe this is a discussion for a later episode this Advent season, but what to do next year. So I'm thinking about kind of the next steps. Like, do I really want to just go whole hog and just declare myself like, this is what I want? Or do I want to continue to spread myself thin over too many things? So
I think you want to spread yourself thin over too many things. Well, no, I mean, I'm a painter and I identify myself as an artist and a painter. But that doesn't mean that I have to just do that.
No, that's true. No, the reason I'm saying is there's something called a Master Knitter program that's like 3 years long, basically. And it's where you create, and it's like research papers, and a whole bunch of knitting swatches and samples and all these different techniques, and you submit your work, and they say, that's good, or do that again. And then at the end of that, you get a certification of master. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, graduate school of knitting. And I've contemplated doing it. And they also have a professional knitter's certification, which is a little bit different. But that would set you up to do things like test knitting or sample knitting for like major pattern companies and that kind of thing. That's kind of fascinating to me. Or I may just say, you know what? I'm going to take 2021 and spin the whole fleece of the sheep called Naomi that I got this fall, which is sitting there waiting for me to spin up. So
She found her namesake lamb.
yeah, she's a Jacob
Sheep.
ewe, and she was beautiful. And the fiber is this gorgeous. I'll bring some next time. This gorgeous dark brown, beautiful Jacob wool. And I bought the entire fleece, and it's the last time it was going to be available because that particular flock was moving across the country. So anyway, I bought it through Tempe Yarn and Fiber here in Arizona, and with the help of Wool Tunis, who processes all that and gets that wool from small farms. So it's very exciting. So that's my other passion. Maybe I'll do a spinning demonstration one day. But so I'm here. I'm working on a pattern by Stacy Perry, Very Pink Knits. It is a sweater for my son, my long-suffering son, who I started this ages ago. It's going to have a zipper right here in the front and be long sleeve, of course. And top down, I'm working on the body, which is the C of, as they say, the C of stockinette, so of course I got bored and had to do 15,000 other projects, and he keeps saying, when are you gonna knit my sweater, Mom? So I thought, and then, so I was trying to decide, what am I gonna knit during this thing? And all my patterns are on that iPad that's recording. So anyway, all my patterns that for all the projects I'm using are on that iPad that's recording this. So I'm like, well, I can't have my pattern in front of me. So I decided, well, all I need to do is add inches to this sweater, so I can do that without a pattern. So I'm like, oh, Eli, you're in luck. Your sweater's gonna get
A few more inches.
a few more inches. But I just found this. I forgot there's a slipped stitch. What is that? Maybe 2 inches down. I put a little marker there. So when I get over there, I'm gonna have to ladder down and fix that. I found that the other day. I'm like, no. So I'm enjoying knitting and exploring all the things of knitting, and I'm doing 2 Advent projects. One of them I can't show you yet, but it's the Arne and Carlos. I'll insert a picture of their cover page. The Arne and Carlos Advent Christmas ball ornaments, and this is my yarn that I've chosen for that. And it's 24 knitted balls, and the reason I'm making them is because I have 2 kittens that have never seen a Christmas tree before, and I figure if I have unbreakable ornaments, it might be best. And then the other thing that I'm doing is a Gnome knit along, a Gnome, what do they call it? Adventure, and it requires 4 colors. Whoops, I picked up. So I'm using these 4. This is going to be his beard, which is kind of brownish, but I figured, oh well. And then sort of Christmassy colors because it is an Advent, and then a dark contrast, which it calls for. I have no idea what it'll be, but it'll be a gnome, so that'll be fun to watch. And so that's my. Plus, I have a lot of Christmas presents which I can't show on here.
She did a knit thing where she didn't know what it was going to be because the cat that designed it wasn't telling, and
Sharon from security.
So, but it was so beautiful when it got done.
Yeah, it was a mystery knit along, which is what the gnome is. It's a mystery knit along. So in that you get a clue every so often. You know that you're going to make. You sort of know the object you're going to make, but you don't know what. And you're allowed to pick your colors, obviously, but then you don't know what it's going to look like and what, like with the shawl we made. You know, you picked your 4 colors, but you didn't really know how they were going to work together and what the stitch patterns were going to be. So every week we'd get a new clue, and I will bring that shawl and show that next time. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. And then we did a cowl with the same. It's Casapinta and her cat, Sharon from security. So that was a lot of fun this fall, and it really took the edge off the pandemic. Oh, we forgot to say the name. We're going to call this podcast from Three Sisters Creative, we're going to call it Sticks and Strings.
Yes.
Because all 3 of us use some form of sticks and strings. I use big sticks and big string. She used tiny pokey sticks and little strings. And so does she. But also paintbrushes or sticks with strings on the end. And, well, hair, but you can call it strings.
Yeah.
And sewing machines use a pointy stick and strings. So, you know, we're all some form of.
Paintbrushes have
Pardon me
hair
while
on
I
them.
enjoy a refreshing beverage.
I want a refreshing beverage. My refreshing beverage is out.
Well,
But
you didn't go, you want me to go get you one from the table over there? I can
I'll
hand it
get
to you.
one.
I can hand it to you.
Oh yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I had thought that we would talk on this first one about our traditions of Christmas, because we are at the beginning of the Christmas season, the Advent season, and we had a lot of different traditions when we were growing up that we have made, but we've had to make changes as we got older and had our own families. But one of the traditions that I always liked in
Not sponsored.
one of the traditions that I always
Sorry.
liked when I was growing up was when we were little, we used to go up to the mountain to cut our own tree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And New Mexico has a similar climate to Phoenix, and yet it doesn't, because the snow on the mountain in the winter was so
You can get
wonderful.
snow here.
Yeah,
Up north,
not,
but
yeah, but
we just don't know where to go.
in
honestly.
Albuquerque, you know, the mountain was so close.
Yeah.
And you know, down in Albuquerque, it might be cold, and believe it or not, Albuquerque can get really cold because the wind that comes through the
Well, it's high altitude.
Yeah.
It's, you
Yeah.
know, higher than.
Here we're practically
So-
sea level.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you trudge through the snow uphill, sliding around.
Well, and you know, for the Christmas trees, they'd have different. If I'm in the right place.
You'd have to be in a different forest to get it.
Yeah, they'd have different parts of the state. Different national forests had the tree cutting permits that year or whatever. There were 2 or 3 different places or whatever, and so you know, so we would go if it was somewhere we could, and you had to, and they installed in later years sort of a lottery system, so you had to submit and say, well, this is my first choice and my second choice, and then they would say, you know, whether or not you won and could go to that area or whatever and cut
I
a
don't
tree.
remember that.
And then also
I'm so young.
they would have,
That
you know,
was
like,
after we
it-
left, I think.
no, it wasn't. But they would do things with, you know, they would announce sometimes with the weather, you know, oh, you can't go to the Cuba area unless you have chains, because it snowed a lot,
That's
know,
Cuba,
whatever.
New Mexico, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Cuba, New Mexico. And, and so, you can't go here unless you have chains or, sometimes I remember one year we went someplace and we got about halfway up and all these cars are coming by back down the mountain without trees. And somebody said that, like there was, I guess, it was very, very, very snowy. And up where we were going, somewhere along the highway, people were stuck and sliding around in the snow or whatever. And so nobody could get through. So we turned around and we ate lunch up there in the mountains. And then turned around and bought a tree down in town somewhere.
Bought a tree, yeah.
I think I remember that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we used to do was my mom would have a Christmas party every Christmas Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and we three girls would make some kind of Christmas ornament. I had hoped to get them out to have for this video, but
We don't have
Today-
a tree up yet.
today was
We're still
Today-
recovering from Thanksgiving.
today was amazingly hard. I slept so late. It was practically noon by the time I got up because I stayed up all night painting. But not all night, but a long time. We would make ornaments. Every year it was a challenge to find a new way to hand make an ornament, and then we would put all of these in, and they were the same but different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's typically about anywhere from 12 to maybe 16 people, something like that.
When we were real little, it used to be
because yeah,
huge
For-
family.
yeah.
gathering.
When we went through this, it's several years that we were making an ornament for everybody. But it was like my parents and my Aunt Mary Lou, and sometimes Aunt Bibi and Judy, and at one period time,
And their kids.
and their kid, Naomi and her family, and Eve and Rob, her son, and me and my brother and his girlfriend and her niece. So there was like a whole ton of people, and so
Every year we had to figure out
Yeah.
how many people would be there and add a few in case somebody brought somebody.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then
Because
like
they were always invited, they were always welcome.
and
Yeah.
but then like so like one year we made something. I don't know where I heard about it or saw it, but they were beer ornaments. So you bought
Our family doesn't drink, so this was
So,
fun.
yeah,
That's what's funny.
you had to buy like it was like beer and Epsom salts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then and Christmas those Christmas balls.
Oh yeah.
And so
If we were still doing it, we'd do a cross stitch ornament.
so you would use the Epsom salts would crystallize on the surface, so you would, I think you dipped it in the beer and then you dipped it in the Epsom salt or something like that. I remember how to do it. And then one year, the one I liked the best, I think, I had seen this little felt Christmas tree
Yeah.
at Target, and it was like these, graduated little different sized discs of this kind of a thick, I don't know if it's wool or felt or whatever.
By the way,
And-
Beth says she's not creative, and yet she's the one that came up with most of these
Yeah,
ideas.
I was just sitting here thinking. I think most of them were your idea.
Mhm.
But
Some of them were
But she would
mine,
come up
but-
with the idea and then say,
yeah,
"You guys have to
Here,
figure out how to
make-
do it."
but they were like graduated, sizes of these discs, and they were horizontal, to make a tree shape, and they were separated by wooden beads.
Yeah.
And then there
Those
was
were cute. We
the
still have
trunk
some
was
of
made out of felt, and then the little star on top was a vertical disc with a little star stitched on it.
Those
And
were
then-
fun to make.
Yeah.
We did
And
all
so-
kinds though, not just
So we
trees.
made several kinds out of I think we used like a adhesive foam
Yeah.
thing instead, because it was
Mhm.
stiff. And we even made some square ones.
Yeah. Those were.
And we
cool.
made them out of
They
different
were fun.
colors, and and then like
We'd
put
put on-
jingle bells
yeah,
and
orange
Do you remember the
on them.
year we bought the gypsum ornaments and painted them? Oh my gosh, that took forever.
no, I don't remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
The little white ornaments, and we had to paint them all.
Uh-huh. And
And
you're
then-
like, is this good? Should I paint it with this color or that color? Just paint it.
I don't remember that one. And I remember
Beth doesn't
the
like going off the beaten path.
I remember the
Remember the
little
episode when I said she's the tree trunk,
yeah.
she's the branches, I'm the leaf. So
Um,
yeah,
we made the one out of those wooden clothespins, the old fashioned clothespins, and we made little angels.
angels I think.
Mhm.
Or we got one time we got kits from I think it was Hobby Lobby. These snowmen, those are my favorites. They're little wooden balls, and you put branches. We put branches for their
Oh, yeah, yeah,
arms, and
yeah.
we put little scarves, and it came with. I think it came with like hats, like wooden hats or something.
Felt. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I thought those were so cute.
We
I-
still
we
have-
a bunch of
We
those.
still have at least one of
Of
the
each
different
one.
types of
It was
ornaments.
hard though because we'd make one for every person, but
Uh-huh.
not just family. So then we would go home with 4 of them, and we're like,
And I would have two, and for a long time I was living with my mom and my
It's
we'd have
what's
more.
hard now is that my parents and Eve and Rob and I all live in one house, and it's like kind of it doesn't really work the same way anymore.
yeah.
So now we have to
It's
come up with
different. We'll do
some
different
different
things.
traditions now.
Because our parents recently moved from New Mexico here, and
We're sitting in
I
their
moved
house.
from Little
yeah,
Rock.
we're in their
Yeah.
house, and I live 10 minutes away, up the street.
Beth and I live here.
Yeah, and they live here.
Yeah.
So everything's different, but we're glad to have our mom and dad here. I mean, I was getting very nostalgic about the house in New Mexico and not going back for Christmas, because we're listening to Christmas music, and my son's like, "Oh, this reminds me of driving to New Mexico," and I get sad about it. But then I like the most important thing is that they're here and we can take care of them. That's, it's sad to like our childhood home. Someone else is living there, and
But I felt the same way about Grandma's house in Silver City.
yeah.
Well, not Silver City. It's close to Silver City.
Central, yeah.
And I drove by there. My grandfather worked at Kennecott Copper Mine, and he built my grandmother a house, and it was these huge stones,
That's beautiful.
and the colors of the stones were just amazing, and that's how he built the walls and everything with these stones, and it didn't look like any other house anywhere in that little tiny town. And the person that bought it stuccoed
Ew.
over those
I didn't know that.
stones. And when I drove by there and I saw that, I wanted to cry. And so I loved growing up in the home we grew up in, but I will never drive by it again
I
because
drove by it when we went last.
I don't want to see what they've done to it.
Yeah, a couple of summers ago, Hannah and I went. My daughter and I went back, and we drove by it. I mean, it still looked the same.
Yeah,
But
I
it
don't
is
wanna-
hard. It's hard. Like with my husband's mother passed away, but we moved her here a few, like 5, was she here 5 years, I think? And they totally renovated that house. It's totally different now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I'm not interested in.
it's hard, but it's, I think, just a normal process in life. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't always be like, the house that you grew up in is standing there forever and you go back forever. It just doesn't always work. And the most important thing I keep saying is mom and dad. So
Well, and when I think about the traditions that we've had with Christmas, our faith is always very much wrapped up
Yeah.
in that. One of the reasons why we're like, well, let's do Advent. We don't necessarily celebrate Advent, our family, but for us, Christmas and the Christmas season is about our faith. And so the things that we do, my mom was just saying today that she misses the music. And she goes, I hope this year at Christmas that we're going to do some singing.
I was so
And-
sad because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was so sad thinking about the last 2 Christmas Eves. We've gone up to Camelback Bible Church, and they have a very traditional kind of Christmas thing, and it's so beautiful. I was like, oh, they're not going to be having that this year, and even if they were, we wouldn't go because
It's very crowded.
you don't want to expose
Yeah.
my mom. You can't expose them to anything.
But the music of Christmas, the songs that that you grow up, even from as early as Away in the Manger, and I've heard Away in the Manger sung so many new different ways, but also my son did he sung a solo at church when he was junior high. Mary, did you know?
Yeah, he was so
And,
cute.
Yeah.
Don't remind him of it. It makes him mad.
You can't get him to sing in front of anybody anymore. His voice is still beautiful, but and one day we'll hear him sing again. But well,
I have to
meanwhile
get my
we wait.
knitting kit. Sorry.
So the music that
Well, we're
Messiah,
all musicians,
Yeah.
We're
Well,
yeah. I mean,
I was just thinking about Messiah the other day, of how that music is woven into everything that I remember about Christmas.
Well, that was, a friend of mine posted a picture that came up in his Facebook memories. And it's funny because, I had always thought that the church that I went to in Little Rock would be great to do Messiah in, and some of the other chamber concerts and stuff, but we never did it at my church. Even though we were very close to where the symphony offices were, and I kept thinking, gosh, this would be a great venue, to do some of our concerts in, and we never did. And then shortly after I left Little Rock and moved out here, they started doing some of the concerts there. So anyway, this picture that he posted was from a Messiah rehearsal at our church at Calvary, but for all the years that I lived in Little Rock, I was there in the symphony for about 25 seasons, and almost every year that I was out there, I did Messiah, and we did mostly the Christmas portions.
what did you do? You played bassoon,
I played bassoon, yes.
and she was
I
in the
played-
Arkansas Symphony.
Yeah, and so every year the Arkansas I think it was the Arkansas Choral Society. There were two different choral groups in town there, and but the Choral Society was the one that did Messiah every year, and along with they supplemented their choir forces at one point with a couple of the local colleges and high schools and whatever. But anyway, so that was I played every year, and so but then I around the time that I moved out here, I had brain surgery and all this kind of stuff, and so that kind of I don't do that anymore.
I haven't been to a performance of Messiah in so long.
Yeah.
Well,
And how about Nutcracker?
Nutcracker? I
They're
know
not
my
gonna do that
husband.
this year either, right?
My husband plays oboe, and he's so sad because he goes, about this time we'd be starting rehearsals for Nutcracker. He plays with the Chandler Symphony. It's a community orchestra here, but they do really well. They do a beautiful performance,
And the kids,
it's
oh
a
my
kids.
gosh.
They use a kids ballet, and so it's live music and the kids dancing, and it's a really pretty decent production. And yeah, he's very sad that it's not.
We've been
gonna
trying
happen
to
this
make
year.
new traditions to do since my parents moved here, and one of the things we did was go
there. Yeah.
to go see Nutcracker and
I was thinking.
That was one thing I did. I did a few years of that before they started using a reduced orchestra in Little Rock. So about 5 years or so, I played Nutcracker also.
Yeah.
And then
so much fun.
I filled it. Yeah. So I filled it a couple
But I
times.
was thinking, I don't know how much it costs to tune a piano, but I was thinking maybe part of my gift to Mom will be getting that piano tuned,
Mm-hmm.
so that when we're here Christmas Eve, we can play. You can play it.
I could try, yeah. I can try.
She's
Part-
the resident pianist.
Part of the
I
problem,
can play certain Christmas songs,
I should practice.
like Little Drummer Boy and stuff like that. But Beth is the one that went to music school, and Naomi went to music school. They know.
But I didn't pass. I mean, I passed piano proficiency. But
I can't.
What
Beth
my-
actually
my
knows how to play the piano.
Well, theoretically, but one of the things from the stroke I
I was
had during
wondering if
brain
you could
surgery
play.
is you know I don't notice it most of the time with my right hand, but
When you
there
try
are certain things that I can't do.
Yeah.
Like I used to be able to, you know, like touch typing. You know, I used to be able to type really fast, and now I really can't. I kind of do a hunt and peck thing because, like, I can't even write in cursive writing
Yeah.
very much, and printing. My printing is very scrawly sometimes. You know, like when I start off, I'm okay, and then the more I do it, the more writing I do, the more my hand, my
Yeah.
arm hurts, my hand. It just it's very hard, and so I feel like, oh yeah, I can play the piano, and then when I try to play, you know, I can't. My reach isn't. I don't have the same instinctive
Where
memory
the keys are
reach.
and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard and frustrating to do that.
By the way, all of us know how to play the piano because it was a requirement to be in
Oh,
our
yeah.
family.
Yeah. And I also played bassoon in music school and married an oboe player. My daughter's a violinist, so we have lots of music going on.
My son is not a musician.
But
I made him learn how to play an instrument, and as soon as he could, he stopped playing it.
well,
But he likes
that's
music.
good. Yeah.
He's very
Yeah.
much likes music, but he was the rebel sportsman.
I just got a hammered dulcimer I'm learning how to play, but I won't subject anyone to that yet. Mark's like, hammered dulcimers always sound good. I'm like, well, not if you hit the wrong note. Which is what I do often. But it's so beautiful. I love it so much.
One of the groups that we used to play with in the Arkansas Symphony for our Christmas program was a group called a group called called something like Lark in the Morning, I think.
Oh yeah.
But they had, you know, various folk instruments, but one of them I think was hammered dulcimer. And so we did kind of not exactly a variety show, but various like there was one thing we did with handbell choir, and we did various things with soloists, and a piece or two with Lark in the Morning and things like that. You know, we have our
love
holiday
that.
extravaganza.
There's a lot of folk music in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
My husband was reading something. I guess there's some article about how Arkansas is trying to attract like certain technical business people, like with their sort of good cost of living and all this stuff in different towns in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yeah,
And he's like, we should move there, and I was like, no. But I'm like,
You have too
well,
many teeth.
but I'd have tons of opportunities to play my hammer dulcimer over there. They have like some big conference and competition.
There's this little town that the singles went on like a retreat kind of thing up there, but there's a little town, I can't think of the name of it now. Shoot, but yeah, that like it's a little, there's like a folk music thing, and you can go around the town and like, on this porch there's this, and on this porch these people are playing, and
Love.
and
That would
there's
be
a
so
bunch
much
of
fun.
like little kind of antique shops, and they all.
Yeah, I told you to buy me a mountain dulcimer while you were there.
That was where I bought that little gourd with a thumb organ
Yeah,
thing.
those are cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. I think we went to Blanchard Springs Caverns, and then we as part of that trip, I think.
So
But,
the
yeah.
last Christmas tradition, which we can't do because we live in Arizona now,
Oh yeah, the
is
Illuminati.
the Illuminatias.
We could do it. It's just not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. There
No,
were-
no, I mean to go on the Illuminati
Oh,
tours.
to go on the tours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom always bought Illuminatias from the,
What is Illuminatia? We have to explain that.
it's
It's a paper
a
bag,
paper bag
like a
with
lunch-sized sack, and you put sand in the bottom and then a votive candle inside, and you roll the edges of the bag,
bag
down
down.
so it is sturdy on top. And then you line your walks and your driveways and your streets with them, and you light the candles, and so the paper bag glows that beautiful orange glow.
Mhm.
And in New Mexico, it's a tradition to do that Christmas Eve.
in northern New Mexico, they're called fajalitos.
Yeah, so
Favoritos, yeah.
they just, the whole town decks out, and there's whole neighborhoods that don't do any traditional Christmas lights and do just Illuminatias, and so the whole place is just glowing and beautiful,
And
and
you
they
can
have
take a
lots of
tour.
tours.
Yeah.
You can take a city bus tour for a price,
And they go to all these 2 or 3 various neighborhoods.
just on
There's-
Christmas Eve, mind
yeah.
you. It's just Christmas Eve.
It's
And
so much
there's
fun.
also as part of that now, what they started doing was a balloon glow, and so that several hot air balloons in a certain neighborhood will, like, the balloons are tethered to the ground, but then they pull the little flames, so it makes the balloon light up inside and glows, and it's really, really pretty.
Well, the tradition for the Illuminatias is that it is lighting the way for the Christ child to come.
Mhm.
So that's why they're only on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve and New Year's, they do them on New
They
Year's
do
Eve
on
too.
New Year's Eve, yeah, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom would buy them from the local youth
The-
symphony,
Mhm.
Albuquerque Youth Symphony. If you're in Albuquerque, you should buy some from them. I'm sure they're selling them again this year.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Illuminatias will be out. I don't know about the tour,
Yeah,
about the buses.
Maybe you could do self-guided tours.
Yeah, but I can see that they would still be out, and it was so remarkably beautiful. Because a lot of the housing in Albuquerque is that southwest Pueblo style, so they would
Adobe.
line the rooftops with these lights.
It's so
Now, they do have electronic versions, and when you're
Not-
driving by, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses and stuff,
Yeah.
they use the electronic lights on the roofs, but will still, on Christmas Eve, put out the candles. But it's something that
In Old Town, they have a lot of them too.
yeah, Old Town is decked out with them. If you ever get a chance to go through Albuquerque on Christmas Eve, it is absolutely worth paying for a tour. Driving through on your own is a little difficult, especially nowadays with the modern cars where you can't turn off the lights. But it is beautiful, and I really miss it.
Yeah.
And we don't decorate a lot here in our front yard.
We did Illuminatias one year, remember? You remember?
No,
At my
But-
house?
no, I don't remember. But
Maybe we'll do it.
decorating outside is a young person's thing, because I don't climb ladders anymore, and I don't, But we still, try to get stuff out there to show that, we don't do a lot of, the inflated, snowmen and stuff. I like snowmen, I do, but it has very little to do with Christmas. But anyway, if you want to comment in the comments, I'd love to hear some of your
Yeah.
family traditions.
Mhm.
I really would, because one of the things about Christmas is the stuff you do every year,
Yeah. Oh, I have one. So I don't know when we started, but I have 2 kids. My son is 23,
Yeah.
and my daughter is 19. And I'm not sure when we started this,
How
but
come you know her age and not his?
I don't know.
He is.
Only because I was
He's
talking.
the same age. I mean,
Because he
30
doesn't
years
go
younger
to,
than you, or whatever.
because he doesn't go to
So-
college
Yeah.
I'm
at the
53.
same way.
I'm
Yeah.
53. Yeah, so he's. Oh, oops. Anyway, yeah, so he's 23. But anyway, here's my slip stitch. Look, I laddered down. I'm gonna try to fix it. So I don't know when we started this, but we pack what we call a car picnic. We pick a free night in December, closer to Christmas, so that more neighborhoods are decorated. And what that means in our family is nights when my husband doesn't have a performance or something. But this year it'll be easy. That's sad. But anyway, we pack a car picnic. So we decide all different kinds of foods. And one year we did little those plastic trays with different compartments, and we put all different snacks. Or sometimes we just buy snacks, like we're going to go on a long road trip. But so we do a car picnic. And we get in the car and we turn on the tunes, the Christmas tunes, and we just drive all over the city and all the neighborhoods where we know have good lights, and we go looking, well, let's try up here, let's try Scottsdale, let's try, the Biltmore is a really beautiful place to go. And so we just drive all over the place and try to do that. And I think this year I heard that Zoo Lights, which usually is a walking tour of the zoo, is doing a drive-through. So anyway, so that's our tradition. Just the four of us, we go do that, and the kids love it. They still.
I used to do something like that with Robert when he was young. I would pop popcorn. When he was really little, I would pop a big thing of popcorn, and we would take off with popcorn, and my Aunt Mary Lou and my mom and Robert, and go look at lights. I don't really do that much here. I took Mom and Dad around to see lights here last year. My father can't really see them. He kind of can, but they still like driving around and seeing and enjoy doing that. So we're probably going to do that again this year. Oh, and before it gets too late, and before we forget, I'm going to design a new cross stitch pattern.
Yeah, we're gonna do a pattern and a giveaway each week this month. So for the weeks of Advent. So this is the first pattern, and it's here on with a black background, but you can use whatever color you want.
The pattern is the candles and the words. It's not the background. It's not full cover.
So the background is just would be whatever fabric, So it doesn't have to be black, but because I know a lot of people have trouble stitching on black, but it says it's hard to see here, but it says Advent, and then hope, love, joy, and peace. So there's the different Advent candles and a wreath around the bottom. You can,
I took a picture of it. Yeah. I'll put up a full photo of it.
Yeah. So this pattern is in our Etsy shop if you want to purchase it, but we are going to do a giveaway. So if you want this pattern, just put your name in the comments, and I'll use a decision roulette wheel to pick somebody's name next week.
Yeah, identify that you want the pattern in the comments, and we'll put you in the drawing. And next week, this same time, we'll post another video, and we will announce the winner of this week.
And then we'll have a new pattern, and for next week that we'll talk about next week. So if you want this pattern, the Advent, it says Advent and the Advent candles. Just put your name in the comments and say that you want that you want to be entered to win the pattern, and we'll pick a winner. And if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, you can purchase it in the Etsy shop, or if you next week if you're not the winner of the pattern, you can purchase it in the Etsy shop if you really want it. So, but that's going to be our giveaway this next week. We're going to give it away next week, but it's our giveaway today. So put your name.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
If you'd like that pattern for free,
put your name in the comments.
And next week we will draw a winner.
Yeah.
Live, on the video, and we'll let you know.
I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've done for Christmas. These little stockings. Somebody actually today I was looking through, and somebody had posted a picture of a similar these same things with like different fabric, I guess, but they had purchased. But so this one says Savannah,
Aw.
and this one says Cyrano, and the other ones are roaming around somewhere. My mother used them actually as Christmas decorations last year. I was very
What's wrong with
upset
Well, she didn't.
because I had made them for the
Peanuts.
pets, and they were actually like
All these pets are past.
yeah, they were decorations on the Christmas tree, and my mother used them as like gift tags or something. She put
Oops.
them on, yeah.
Oh, that. I didn't.
Yeah, and
Well,
this-
you said used them as decorations,
No,
and you were upset.
no,
I'm like,
no.
aren't they decorations?
No, she used them like gift tags, and she used this that I made. She used it to wrap somebody's Christmas present. My mother,
We love our mom.
yes, I love my mother. But this
My
is
mother
this
cannot
is,
go to the to go out to the store and buy things, so she was using what she had.
but this is
Made a pretty wrapping,
this is
I'm
Santa,
sure.
Santa pulling a little sled with a Christmas tree on it, and so these, nowadays
And once you give
When
people
I-
things, it's theirs.
nowadays it's really hard to find. Like I bought for my mom several of these. We were talking about this the other day. She was she was showing me some of the things that she was talking about some of the things that I had given her. So I used to find these in like I had bought a red one and a couple of green ones and other colors like that. And nowadays,
I've seen them.
I haven't seen. I've seen white ones, but I haven't seen these colors in years.
I
And
found
these
one,
are
I guess
fluffy.
you did
Those
it.
are fluffy too. They're really pretty.
Yeah, they're really soft. They have a little Ada strip in the middle, but
Yeah.
they're
I was
really soft. And everything.
Finally cleaning out my kitchen towel drawer, and I found one that I think you made it for me last year. It's red with all kinds of words on it, and then it has a strip, and you put a bunch of Santas
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
mhm.
Yeah, you made that for me last year.
Yeah, and I made
like,
one for
"Ooh."
my mom with like a bunch of carolers, and I made one for you with snowman on it. Yeah. And it's funny because I was looking at my mom's, and they're like it's like 40 count or something. It's very tiny because it's not like Ada. It doesn't have an Ada
Darn it.
insert. It's just
Oh.
regular, dish towel fabric, whatever. But I was thinking, yeah, that's like because it's tinier than this. This is 32 count,
That's
and
pretty.
but
Ah.
that's why I'm going.
I know. I'm having trouble. This is dark yarn, and I said this was a sea of stockinette for the sweater, but actually, in this sweater, it's 6 by 1 ribbing. So there's 6 knit stitches and 1 purl, and I keep missing the purl stitch, and I have to go back and fix it. So that's why I'm like,
This is why I don't knit because
it's getting dark.
it's
This is getting dark in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
So
my lamp.
one of the things I want to do is I haven't
Is this
I
thing
haven't
a
put any
tiny-
of my
I mean, okay.
I haven't put any of my
But we should
paintings
stop
in
soon.
in the Etsy store for several reasons. But my mom saw a little painting that I did this size, and she said, "Is that a coaster?" And I was, "No, but that's a very good idea." So I did this one. This is what I was painting late last night. Why I got up so late. It's a daisy, and I'm going to do 3 others this same size, and I'm going to make them into coasters. I'm going to put the coaster stuff on the back and then protect the painting on the front. I have 3 other flowers that I have already planned to do, and
That's neat.
I'm going to put that coaster set up, hopefully, soon. but if not, that's okay. And I refuse to. I
Stop
refuse
thinking.
to give into the hurry of Christmas, and start making it matter about this and that. I do, all of us actually have a tendency to make rather than buy our gifts. And it's not to say that we don't go Christmas shopping and buy certain things, but I don't like to give, I don't wanna give in to the hustle and bustle of,
Yeah.
you know, Christmas isn't about that, you know? And you know, I like giving gifts, but I don't think I need to spend, you know, money I don't have buying them. So,
Well, I have hustle and bustle because I'm making so much stuff.
no, I do
And,
make a lot of
I
stuff.
mean, I'm kind of freaking out because, well, I do have Mom's finished, thank goodness. She's not here, so I made some fingerless mitts for her that match a shawl I made for her earlier. The same yarn. They have a cable right here, and they're real pretty. And I don't think I have them with me, but then I'm making something for my sister-in-law, which I cannot mention because she might watch this, and
That's not the same as rushing to
no,
stores
I'm just
to
saying,
buy stuff.
no, rushing to stores. No,
Yeah,
I already
no,
did all
that's
my
what I
rushing
meant.
to buy
That's
all
what I
this
meant.
yarn. But I'm
Yeah,
just
I
gonna
stay
be
up late nights
up all
making
night.
stuff.
and knitting all day, so I hope my husband can feed himself because I got things to do.
That's what I've been
Well, show
working
your
on.
show your stitch markers.
Oh yeah, so I started making. They're not my particular design, but I did talk with the lady who created them, and she said it'd be great to sell them, that I could sell them. Her name is, I can't think of her name. But her channel is 10 rows a day, and she said as long as I mentioned her, she didn't mind. But I will show a picture. But this is an adjustable stitch marker. I'll show a picture of it. Okay, so there's a pause. These are our my stitch markers. I will put a picture of them close up, but they're adjustable. They have two sides, and it's like a slip knot. And so whatever size needle you have, you don't have to have 3 different sizes of stitch markers. You could just use the same one. And they have nothing to snag. They're made out of leather. Real cool. I'm going to have a bunch of different designs up on the shop eventually.
They would be really cool stocking stuffers if
Yeah.
she can make some.
Yeah, if I
soon.
can make them quick. But if
She
not,
has some made, but
you know, knitters need stitch markers every day of the year. So that's going on for me. Plus I have gifts. I'm knitting something for my sister-in-law. I have to make you something. I have an idea. Finally, I figured it out. I'm like, I don't know what to make Beth, because she. Rah! And then I know what I need to make Eve. That's going to take me a while. I still got to think of something for Dad.
I hope it's a quilt with no holes in it.
A quilt with no holes in it.
Yeah, because my dog ate my comforter.
And then I have some plans for my daughter,
These are too
which
heavy.
I also can't mention in case she calls. In case she watches. But anyway, so I got lots of stuff to knit.
We should
I've
probably
been
say goodbye.
I've been stitching since July.
I know. But in July, I was doing other stuff. But anyway, so we're going to probably say goodbye. Don't forget to comment and tell us if you want to be in the drawing for the pattern, the Advent pattern.
And tell us what your Christmas traditions are.
Yes, tell us what your Christmas traditions are. And joining us next week for the second Sunday of Advent. And we'll have another pattern to give away and just more stuff, more talking, more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, this has been our episode 1 of Sticks and Strings, and we will see you. Happy holidays, happy decorating, happy getting
Happy
ready
Advent.
for Christmas, happy Advent. Bye.
Bye.